Welcome to Avant Supermarket Group's Safety Training Program. This program is designed to provide safety information related to your store. This program will cover safety in the bakery, deli, and kitchen areas. Operations at your location may be slightly different. If you have any questions or concerns following this program, consult your direct supervisor or store manager. Many of the tools in the bakery are similar to tools in your kitchen at home. However, the tools in the store are industrial in size and strength. Misuse can result in injury. This program will cover safe use of the cooking and preparation equipment found in a commercial kitchen. If any of your equipment is not covered in this program, please consult the operation manual and your supervisor before use. Let's begin with the bakery oven. Your store may have one of these ovens or a similar piece of equipment. Be sure to check the manual if you have questions about your oven. The revolving oven has racks that rotate similar to a Ferris wheel. Be sure to stop the oven before loading or unloading any of your pans. Always wear protective mitts. They are designed to withstand high heat and reduce the possibility of burns. The rack oven is also a rotating oven that uses upright rolling racks. Never grab a rack that is still in motion. Always use oven mitts when handling hot racks. Make sure to place hot racks out of the way and notify other employees of the danger. Your store may or may not have a pizza oven. There are several types of pizza ovens that you may encounter. A conveyor-type pizza oven can be used for cooking many foods other than pizza. The conveyor uses a belt that rotates through the cooking area. Be sure to use proper tools to remove the pizzas or food pans, as they will be hot. A brick-type pizza oven uses high heat and has an opening at the front. Keep your hands and face protected around the opening. The combination oven uses convection and steam to cook foods. Be careful of hot doors and steam when opening and closing the oven. Use oven mitts to prevent burns to your hands and arms. Quiz question. Protective oven mitts should always be worn when placing or removing pans from the oven. A. True. B. False. The answer is true. Anytime you are placing or removing pans from the oven, mitts should be worn. Regardless of the oven type, each has a danger of heat, steam, or flame. The donut fryer is probably not an item you have in your home. With proper usage, the donut fryer can be safe. With misuse, it can cause serious injury or burns. Always refer to the equipment manual before beginning use. If you have any questions, ask your supervisor before you begin operation. Here are some things to consider with the donut fryer. Always be sure the fryer is filled properly. When loading shortening into a drained, cleaned fryer, make sure the power is off. The shortening must be properly packed to avoid air pockets. Air pockets can cause the shortening to explode. Do not overfill the fryer with shortening. Overfilling can result in burns or possibly even a fire. Keep the shortening below the fill line located inside the fryer. Too much can cause the shortening to bubble over or splash, which may cause burns. Too little shortening can be a fire hazard, causing the shortening to overheat, resulting in flame. When adding shortening to a hot fryer, make sure to use the tray to avoid splashing. For best cooking and safety, maintain the proper level and temperature. When turning donuts, always use the proper utensils to prevent injury. Keep the screen securely fastened to the cradle before placing it into the fryer. The deep fryer is used to prepare many of the foods in the deli. This means the fryer is used frequently, which increases the possibility of injury. Always be sure the fryer is in proper working order. Keep all other liquids away from the fryer. Water and oil do not mix. Here are some additional safety tips for the deep fryer. The fryer basket should always be in good repair. If your basket is damaged, please notify a manager immediately. Keep the fryer and surrounding work area clean. Keep all foreign liquids and wet utensils away from the fryer. Mixing of liquids with hot oil can result in splashing or popping of oil. When loading or unloading the fryer, Use tongs to prevent contact with hot oil. If your unit has a lid, be sure the lid is closed and sealed before cooking. Check the temperature and pressure during cooking to be sure it's correct. Never open the lid until the pressure reading is 0. If your fryer has a pressure relief valve, they need to be cleaned regularly to ensure proper operation. Deep fryer cleaning occurs on a regular basis. Remember when cleaning the fryer that the shortening is very hot. Always use a proper metal container to collect the oil. If your store has an oil pump for removal, get instruction on proper use. When you begin refilling the fryer, keep the hose against the side of the fryer to avoid splashing. If you have any additional questions or concerns, refer to the operation manual of your particular unit. Quiz question. When working with a deep fryer or donut fryer, you should A. Maintain the oil to the proper fill line. B. Ensure proper operating temperatures. C. Keep the work area clean and in order. D. Never open a pressure cooker until the pressure is 0. Or E. All of the above. The answer is E. All of the above. Each of the items are important in the operation of a fryer. Here are some general rules for the kitchen area. All CO2 bottles must be chained up to prevent tip-over or valve damage. Damage to a valve of one of these bottles can result in a rapid release of the contents. No items should be stored near or on top of the stove. Keep the floor clean of grease and liquids to prevent slip and fall injuries. The bread slicer is a useful tool in the bakery area. This piece of equipment has several moving blades that could result in a severe injury. Proper operation while using and cleaning the slicer is very important. Do not use the bread slicer unless you've been trained properly. When using the slicer, place a loaf onto the carriage and move your hands away. Close the carriage with the appropriate handle and begin slicing. When cleaning the slicer, the power must be off and disconnected. Be careful cleaning around the blades as they are sharp and will cut you. The heat shrink wrapper can be found in several areas of the store. Many of the items prepared in the kitchen are wrapped in film to keep them fresh. Items prepared for the deli case are also wrapped for retail sale. The heat wrapper uses a hot plate to seal the film and sometimes has a blade built in to cut the film. Use care when working around this equipment. The wrapper should be powered on only when in use. This will conserve energy and reduce the risk of fire. Keep the cutting edge clean to allow a better wrap. Leaving film on the heat plate can cause it to melt, resulting in a mess. Quiz question. When cleaning the bread slicer, the power should be on to test operation. A. True. B. False. The answer is false. The power should be disconnected to prevent accidental powering on of the slicer. Cleaning any piece of energized equipment should be completed while the power is disconnected. The meat slicer can be found in the meat market and deli area. Do not use the slicer unless you have been trained by an authorized employee. If the product you're slicing is too long for the pusher guard, use the hooks in its place. The pusher guard must always be used when cutting or slicing product. If you have any questions or concerns, please refer to the operation manual or your manager. Your concentration should never leave the slicer while in operation. If you must respond to a customer or another associate, turn the slicer off until you are finished speaking. Before cleaning the slicer, be sure to turn off and disconnect the power. Turn the thickness dial to 0. Do not clean the slicer without a protective mesh cut glove. Do not clean the slicer with a wet rag while it's in operation. This is very dangerous and can result in a severe injury. Quiz question. When you're using the deli slicer, you should do the following. A. Not use the slicer unless you have been trained. B. Turn off the slicer when speaking with a customer or leaving the area. C. Never clean the slicer while it's spinning. D. Always turn the dial to 0 after you are finished slicing. Or E, all of the above? The answer is E, all of the above. All of the steps are important in the safe operation of the slicer. If you have any question, please contact your manager. Your store may have a steam table. Steam tables are often used when kitchens prepare food to serve throughout the day. The table is often accompanied by heat lamps above the food to help retain the heat. The steam that rises from underneath the food pans can cause serious burns. The food pans are also very hot. The water temperature is approximately 140 degrees Fahrenheit. A pair of oven mitts should be used when handling the hot pans. When changing out pans, keep your body close to the table to avoid a lifting injury. Be aware of the splashing water. A vinyl apron may be necessary to prevent burns from the water. Vent hoods are a crucial part of your commercial kitchen. Vent hoods used in commercial kitchens are designed to collect excess heat, grease-laden vapor, and air emitted from cooking. The baffle filters in the hood are used to collect grease from cooking. Regular cleaning of the filters can prevent a fire. The baffle filter should be removed on a regular basis depending on how much cooking your kitchen is doing. The overall hood should be cleaned on a semi-annual basis by a licensed contractor. If you are frying, your hood should contain a fire suppression system. This system is designed to put out a cooking fire with a wet chemical agent. The fire suppression system uses a wet chemical agent to put out a grease-based cooking fire. The system is designed to automatically discharge when a certain temperature is reached. The system also has a manual activation pull station located in the kitchen. This should be identified during your training. If this has not been identified, please ask your manager to identify this pull station. The nozzles under the hood should be directed over the fryers or other cooking equipment. The nozzle should be kept clean of grease and debris. In the event of a fire, call 911. Use the Type K fire extinguisher before activating your suppression system manually. The K, or restaurant fire extinguisher, uses the same chemical as the fire suppression system. This should be mounted and marked in the kitchen area. In the event of a fire, pull the pin, aim at the base of the fire, and sweep back and forth. Additional information is provided in other modules. Never use water on a grease fire. Quiz question. The fire suppression system located in the ventilation hood is designed to activate in the event of a fire. A, true. B, false. The answer is true. The fire suppression system can also be activated manually at the pull station located in your kitchen. A Type K fire extinguisher can also put out a grease fire. Never use an ABC or water extinguisher on a grease fire. This can cause the fire to spread. There are many types of knives used in the kitchen area. There are specific knives designed for certain tasks. Always use the correct knife for the job. Proper use and storage of knives will reduce the risk of cut injury. Some kitchens have a double-handled knife for chopping or pizzas. Use both hands at all times while using this knife. Knives should be kept clean, sharp, and stored on a rack or in a scabbard. Use caution when reaching into a sink filled with water. A knife could be lying below the surface. All handles should be clean and not worn to reduce chance of injury. Always cut away from your body. Use the correct knife for the job. If you are unsure which knife to use, ask your supervisor. Damaged or broken knives should be disposed of immediately. Quiz question. When using kitchen knives, you should A. Keep your knives clean, sharp, and cut away from your body. B. Keep your knives in a drawer away from other employees. Or C. Use whatever knives you can find to complete the job. The answer is A. Keep your knives clean and sharp and cut away from your body. Knives should always be stored in a rack or scabbard. Only use the proper knife for the job. Incorrect equipment can result in an injury. Every kitchen has a large amount of supplies used for daily operations. Keeping the supplies organized and in stock can make a kitchen safe and operate smoothly. All supply areas should be kept neat. Keep glass and heavier items on lower shelves for easier access. When retrieving items from high shelves, use a stool or ladder to prevent reaching above your head. Maintain proper stacking to prevent items from falling over. Always use a stock cart to transport items to the kitchen. Before lifting any item, check the load to make sure it's not too heavy. Use your legs to lift and not your back. Your kitchen may use different items. Always check with your supervisor if you are not sure. Slips, trips, and falls. The kitchen area has many opportunities for slip, trip, and fall accidents. Keeping the kitchen clean and organized can help to prevent injuries or accidents. Here are some tips you can follow. Keep the floor area around tables and cooking equipment clean and free of grease or liquids. Keep rugs clean, flat, and in place. Report any flooring problems to management. Wear shoes with slip-resistant soles. Do not wear open-toed shoes. Floor inspection in food preparation areas is important. Inspect around the meat, seafood, produce, and dairy areas to ensure cleanliness. Pick up, clean up, and mop up these areas. Every walk on the floor should also be an inspection. Remove any foreign items you see. Sweep all debris and trash, mop up all liquids. This can prevent customer and employee accidents. Quiz question. When working in the kitchen, you should A. Inspect around the meat, seafood, produce, and dairy areas to ensure cleanliness. B. Pick up, clean up, and mop up. C. Sweep up all debris and trash and mop up all liquids. Or D. All of the above. The answer is D. All of the above. When working in the kitchen areas, the floor must be kept clean of trash, debris, and liquids. Be sure to regularly inspect your work area. All coolers and freezers should be stacked and organized neatly. Sloppy stacking can cause an employee or vendor to have an accident. Heavy items should be stacked low on the bottom shelf. Heavy items can crush boxes below or be hard to retrieve from high areas. All lights and switches must be in working order. All bulbs must have a protective cover or be replaced with a shatterproof bulb. Any lighting or electrical problems should be reported to management immediately. Quiz question. Walk-in coolers and freezers should be kept A. Neatly stacked with heavy items on the bottom, floors clean, ice buildup removed, and lighting maintained. Or B. Clean, heavy items stacked on the top and inspected monthly. The answer is A. Neatly stacked with heavy items on the bottom, floors clean, ice buildup removed, and lighting maintained. Thank you for participating in Avant Supermarket Group's Commercial Kitchen Safety Program. For additional safety information, contact our safety department at losscontrol@avantsupermarketgroup.com. If you have any questions about this presentation or any questions that were not answered, please refer them to your manager or supervisor.